His desire is that every single human being He has brought into existence be in right relationship with Him. And anything less than 100% is too few. Not enough. God counts few anything less than all. And of course, you know that few is a relative term, so there's no problem in seeing the scale of few change drastically depending on the perspective. And God says that Jesus is standing at the door. That Jesus' return is soon. It's right here. This is the divine perspective. Well, no normal human would say that a 2,000-year wait is soon. Okay, but that's because our perspective on the topic's different. God's perspective is from eternity, in which the history of earth is but an infinitesimal blip in the totality of eternity. Okay? And therefore all time is soon from God's perspective. And in the same way, just as the divine perspective on time is different from ours, I think the divine perspective on many versus few. The truth of the matter is, way more have been chosen as Gentiles than were alive as Jews. Way more. But again, it's few in comparison to the number that God wanted. God wanted all. Okay, questions?
Do we interpret many or full as all or full?
I do, yes. Section 195 is the question about taxes. Here's a picture of the denarius that would have been handed to Jesus when He asked them to show Him a denarius. A picture of Tiberius Caesar's head on the front, and so He says, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." Okay. In section 196, we get the Sadducees telling this story about a woman who's married to 7 brothers, each in succession. Bless her heart. Or maybe I should say, bless their heart. She was bad news because all of them died. However you want to look at that story. The Sadducees are assuming here levirate law. Okay, please know that levirate has nothing to do with Levitical. Levites and levirate, no connection. Levirate comes from the Latin word meaning brother or brother-in-law. Okay, and in Deuteronomy 25 verses 5 to 10, we get the instructions for levirate marriage, in which a brother marries his deceased brother's wife to raise up children for that brother. Okay? Jesus said the Sadducees had 2 problems. They misunderstood Scripture, and they misunderstood God's power. The Scripture that they misunderstood, from a Hebrew scholar's perspective, is interesting because it says, literally the Hebrew says, "I, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." There's no verb in the Hebrew text. It's implied. And Jesus reads that text and says, the verb implied is a present tense verb. And for God to present tense be the God of Abraham, who was physically dead, must mean that there's life beyond the grave in order for God to am the God of Abraham.